who the Cowboys' leading receiver was last night?
I don't know.
Tight end Jeff Swaim.
Oh, yeah, he had a couple nice ones. Had one big play, yeah.
3 catches for 55 yards. Couple nice ones. So following that overtime loss to the Texans, Jerry Jones was asked about their lack of talent at wide receiver after watching DeAndre Hopkins torch their secondary for 151 yards.
Yeah.
He had a couple nice ones. This is what Jerry had to say.
Well, I would love to have number one receivers. You have to get those, and when the opportunities are there, Hopkins is tremendous, and he made the plays out there tonight that made a lot of difference. I don't really want to dwell on any aspect of the offensive side of the ball.
Well, it's no secret that their former number one receiver, Des Bryant, recently expressed his desire to return to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And Jerry said that's not going to happen, basically. Right. And Des still responded to Jerry's comments last night, tweeting, I don't know what Jerry meant by that number one wide receiver, but I'm damn for sure would have kept them chains moving.
Well, Dez is no longer a number one, so let's not say that what Jerry was saying is I'd love to have a number one. He's talking about OBJ. He's talking about Julio Jones.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. Hopkins a great player. That Dez right now isn't that. Dez was an 800-yard guy last year. Dez is definitely an NFL player. He's definitely an NFL player, but he's not an elite number one. He doesn't separate. And frankly, Dez's last year playing, he dropped a lot of footballs. He was not a reliable pass catcher his last year in Dallas.
And there was a lot of pressure for Dak to throw to Dez, so he was forcing it to him rather than spreading the ball around.
Yeah.
So the Browns have won their second game.
Yeah.
Very ugly overtime win, but
we said on Friday, Joey,
it was going to be a big weekend for the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, and I said this is going to be one of these ugly games. Ravens coming off an emotional win over the Steelers. So this game kind of looked like everybody thought it. Vegas had it as a 3-point game. It looked
trap game.
It was a complete trap game. And by the way, it looked like a lot of Baltimore games too. It was kind of ugly.
Well, here's Baker after that game.
Take a lot of pride in that. That shows that we're starting to change the culture around here. That guys, early on, or I think in the past, thought, when something bad happens, they, kind of get in the tank a little bit, put their head down. But we have a team right now that's starting to believe in themselves, and rightfully so. So I take a lot of pride in the culture change and being positive, always moving forward and doing your job no matter what the situation is. Yeah, that was big for us.
By the way, Cleveland's got good players now. I believe I'm right saying this. I think Cleveland right now leads the NFL in takeaways defensively. You're not doing that because you don't have players. The great thing Cleveland has this morning, they have talent. When you're bad forever and get all those draft picks, they got good players.
Oh, well, you have to also draft good, getting all those draft picks.
Denzel Ward's been good.
I do believe that things are changing for Cleveland, though. There's a different feel around them as a whole. And it's not just that, we're tired of talking bad about Cleveland. Like, right. Baker is a legitimate quarterback,
yes.
which is what we're seeing.
Yes.
And they're winning games.
Yes.
You can't ask for anything else. And I don't care how ugly the win was. The Ravens just stomped on the Steelers.
By the way, Sam Darnold was pretty good yesterday, too. Like deep balls.
No, you can have your moment. He's back on track. It was looking a little shaky there for you for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Speaking of disappointments, the Atlanta Falcons, 5 games in 2018, are arguably the most disappointing team
in
the NFL. They were a playoff squad last year. They're now 1-4 and a blowout loss at Pittsburgh yesterday. And the owner, Arthur Blank, did not see this coming.
Arthur Blank.
Okay. Are you kidding me? We can't erase the last 5 games. We have to make adjustments. That's all you can do. Start out next week and act like it's 0-0. Nobody wants any excuses. Nobody wants to hear any stories. That's the nature of this business.
Yes. Well,
you do have to have a short memory when it comes to sports, but starting out 1-4 when you're the Falcons and you were what you were the last 2 years, you don't want that.
Football is so different. It's the opposite of the NBA. If you go into an NBA season, we can all predict the top 5 teams. Even if Golden State lost Draymond Green for the year, we'd still be great. Tony Gonzalez always tells me this. Every year in football, regardless of your roster, even if you bring the same guys back, it's a different year. Guys get paid, guys get lazy, guys get hurt.
Look at the Eagles.
Philadelphia's a different team. Atlanta's a different team. Minnesota won, but they're a different team. Like, New England's the exception. Everybody else year to year is Baltimore looks good. Last 2 years, they weren't so good. It's a different team every year.
But there are expectations on you when you have a consistent level of winning and you're in the playoffs year to year, so I can see why the Falcons are disappointed. But, like I said, got to have a short memory and try and turn it around.
Yeah. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
13 NFL seasons. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler, a number 1 pick, a comeback player of the year. Still holds the record for most career rushing yards by a quarterback, well over 6,000. He's my friend Michael Vick, FS1 NFL analyst, joining here. The Herd on a Monday. By the way, 30 minutes, we're calling right, we're calling wrong. All right, let's talk about Jason Garrett. So you're watching that game, and they decide not to go for it. I would imagine you're an offensive guy. Fans and offensive guys always want to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what would you have said to Jason Garrett if he asked you? What in that
Let's go for it.
Why?
I mean, at this moment in time of the season, they desperately need a win. You don't want to be laying in your bed at night saying, I wish we would have went for it on 4th down. You punt it. And those are the biggest reasons why teams don't make the playoffs at the end of the year, not having any guts. You got to have some guts in this league. I mean, this is a league where you have to try hard, where you don't just hope and wish and pray that things are going to happen, because it'll come back and bite you in the end. And this could be a loss that could potentially hurt them down the road.
So you think that short flight from Houston to Dallas home, there's
it was a rough one. It was a rough one.
Have you ever lost a game and you're on the flight home and you felt like it changed the season?
Yeah, I mean, multiple times and on too many occasions, but I can never recall a 4th and 1 where we was on the plus side of the field and we had an opportunity to at least go for it and not have to deal with the regret. I'd rather put the team in a position where we say, okay, we tried.
Because I think most athletes have all dealt with failure. I mean, listen, in baseball, you only bat 250, so you're striking out all the time. I think where you lose professional athletes is they don't think you trust them.
Yeah.
That's where I would lose Michael Vick in a locker room.
The offensive line will look at this as if our coach really don't believe in us. And if he would have went for it on 4th down, and if they didn't get it,
the players will blame themselves.
Yeah, you'll blame yourself. But the last thing you want to do is be sitting around moping on a Monday morning, thinking, man, if we would have just went for it on 4th down and put ourselves in a position to at least win the game, it changes the whole dynamic of the team. I think the chemistry, and the belief in the coaches in the game plan. That's all on Jason Garrett. Yeah. If I'm a head coach, I'm going for it. And I'm going to tell my guys I went for it because I believe in it.
Do coaches tell you before games, okay, we're going into this game plan, situationally, we're going to go for it a lot? Do you have a sense going into games of the games in which you played where there were lots of risks? Were you talking about it all week?
No. The one thing you don't talk about, is a 4th down situation. If it's 4th and 2, most of the time you're going to punt. If it's 4th and 1, most of the time you're going to punt. Most coaches don't game plan for 4th down situations. 3rd and short, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. They put a plan together. If I ever become a head coach one day, I'm going to have a game plan for 4th down situations. You got to show confidence in your team, and you got to believe in yourself. I mean, if it takes more time to game plan for a 4th and 1 situation, 4th and 2, where you feel like, look, this could be a point in the game where the game could change, then you have to prepare for that. Obviously, they wasn't prepared for it.
Philadelphia wins the Super Bowl, and then, they start writing books, and they have parades, and they start talking trash. Tony Gonzalez says this all the time. He goes, I played in Atlanta one year. We got to the playoffs. We won like 13 games. We came back the following year, same guys, we won 4.
Yeah, it was different.
It's a different ballgame. Lane Johnson said, I'd rather have fun and win a Super Bowl than be miserable in New England and win 5 Super Bowls. And I thought his comment was telling, is that it was the dog masks and it was fun, that it was such
enjoyed the ride.
Yeah. That they really enjoyed it. It's almost like you got a raise at work and they went out and bought a Corvette and they bought a couple nice suits and they got first-class tickets to Paris. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but winning is a process. It's hard.
Yeah.
When I watch Philadelphia, I just see a team that it was such a great year and it all came together, and they don't have the same energy. I mean, what do you see? Carson Wentz is not playing terribly.
Yeah, they went out and certainly they enjoyed the fruits of their labor, and rightfully so. They earned every win last year, and it was a difficult season. They went through a lot. Carson went down. Nick came in. You know, it was a magical season.
Right.
And you enjoy that for 3 or 4 months. But at the end of the day, another season is going to start, and you're going to be the target of the NFL. You're going to be one of the teams that when they line up against you, they're going to want to beat you.
Mike, you went to Green Bay and won a playoff game. That was a huge year. What did you guys do the following year?
I got injured early in the season. We went 4-12, and it was never the same. It wasn't the same team.
It was never the same.
It wasn't the same.
You had a magical year. You go to Lambeau, and you think it's going to last forever. And that's what Tony Gonzalez says. He goes, 2 injuries later, you lose a left tackle, you lose a key corner, and it's like you look up and your division's better. Now you're the target, and it's the way it goes. So OBJ went out. I defended Odell Beckham this morning. I said, listen, there's an elephant in the room. Yeah. And in the NFL, Michael, you know that it's not like baseball or basketball. You guys can all be cut.
Right.
So about 3 guys in a locker room can actually give an honest opinion on stuff and not get cut.
About 3. That's about it.
That's about it, Michael. OBJ is one of those guys.
He's a leader.
I think he owes it to the organization to come out and say, right now, Eli, we're doing too much underneath stuff. Like, what did you make of his comments?
Odell just got paid. He's a respected guy amongst his peers in the locker room, and he has the right to voice his opinion. And even though Eli is an older veteran and those shots were taken more so at Eli, he can do that. You know, he's the guy that Eli counts on and vice versa. So you can voice your opinion and say, yeah, we have to play with more heart. We have to be more aggressive. That's almost a cry for help. And it's nothing wrong with that. If one of my receivers ever did that, I would listen. And for the most part yesterday, I think they did. I think the game plan was better. I thought Eli made some mistakes in
he had one bad pick.
Yeah, one bad interception where he threw it to the safety practically. And but OBJ wasn't wrong. I applaud him for that. I look at that as a step in his growth.
You know, it's funny. They keep babying Eli Manning. Like, Eli Manning is part of the Manning family. These are grown-ups.
Yeah.
They understand football. And I don't understand this constant massaging and this babying of Eli Manning. I'm not always an Odell Beckham guy. There's times I think he needs to grow up, but I support him here. Okay, so I'm watching Aaron Rodgers. And I know the kicker was terrible.
Oh.
But Aaron was rough in the first half.
Yeah.
Aaron was down 24-0. I mean,
it was rough for Aaron, but I thought he did enough. Now, it's easy to say in hindsight those field goals could have changed the dynamic of the game. Yes.
Right, yeah.
And in the moment, Mason Crosby has to make those kicks.
Yes.
Aaron didn't play that bad. I thought he did enough. But it just goes to show that in the NFL, it's the total team game. Aaron Rodgers could have had a stellar performance where his numbers were through the roof, and Mason could have still went down and missed those kicks. And they still lose the game, and we still say, what could Aaron Rodgers have done better? And that's the unfortunate part about playing a quarterback position. Think about the playing in the National Football League or any team sport.
Did you ever have a terrible game and win?
Yeah, I had some ugly wins. Ugly wins that was better than pretty losses.
Did you ever have a great day and you lost?
Yes. A game against the New Orleans Saints that I can remember in 2006 where I rushed for 175 yards and passed for 190 yards and did everything I could do to win a game and put my team in position to win. And we still lost, and it was because of the defense. They wasn't able to stop Drew Brees.
Yeah.
And
just part of it.
Ironically, yesterday on our show, we was talking about guys flicking the bird. I flicked the bird up into the crowd, and I was, it was because I was emotionally upset and distraught, and I put so much heart and soul into the game and the way I play, and I wanted my teammates to be the same way, but everybody's not the same.
Yeah. Michael Vick, good seeing you on a Monday. 4-time Pro Bowler, 13 NFL seasons. Good seeing you, bud.
Good seeing you, too.
Michael Vick. Coming up in less than 30 minutes, where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong. It was a wild weekend in Vegas. It was a wild weekend in the NFL. What do we do with that Conor McGregor mess? Among other things, that's coming up. 66% of men lose their hair by the age of 35. Start to notice it probably too late. That's where 4hims.com comes in. 4hims.com is a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for dudes. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Real doctors, medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss. Well-known generic equivalents to name-brand prescriptions to help you keep your hair. Gas station counter supplements? Not here. There's no waiting room, no awkward in-person doctor visits. You go online, few quick questions, doctor reviews it, prescribes you product shipped directly to your door. $5 gets you in now. $5, that's it. A trial month. Check out the website for details. FORHIM for him. forhims.com/Colin. forhims.com/Colin. A one-stop shop for you guys out there for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness, and more.